नमस्ते, हेलो एंड वेलकम टू गांव कैफे। गांव कनेक्शन के गांव कैफे में आप सभी का स्वागत है। पिछले कुछ दिनों में देश में ही नहीं पर विश्व के हर देश में खासकर लोगों ने ऐसा मानो कि प्रलय को जैसे देखा हो। वेदर इट इज द शॉकिंग विजुअल्स ऑफ फ्लड्स इन Germany, or it is the extremely heavy rainfall in China, where it is believed that months worth of rainfall was received in just one single day. And back home in Maharashtra, things are extremely grim. While we are on Gaon Cafe, the state is battered by heavy rainfall and there are floods across several districts. The people are stranded. Some people have died. There are rescue operations going on right now. So on our Gaon Cafe show today, we are focusing on extremely heavy rainfall events, not just in India, but also across the world. Why are we having these extremely heavy rainfall incidents, and what are the impact of these extreme weather events? So for our Gaon Cafe, we have a very special, knowledgeable climate scientist joining us today, Dr. Roxy Matthew Cole. Dr. Roxy is the scientist with Center for Climate Change Research at Indian Institute of Tropical Meteorology, Pune, IITM Pune. He's also the lead author of one of the special reports of IPCC on the changing climate. Welcome to Gaon Cafe, Dr. Roxy.
Thanks, Nidhi. It's a pleasure to be at Gaon Connection and talking with you about rains, the monsoon rains over Maharashtra and across the country.
Right. And I think this is just the right time to discuss this important issue because so many states in India are right now facing floods and rescue operations are going on. So first question, Dr. Roxy, to you will be around these so-called freak rainfall events. What Maharashtra has witnessed in the past few days. Is this freak rainfall? How would you explain it?
Well, of course, these rains are unprecedented. The rains at what we saw at some parts of Maharashtra, like Mahabaleshwar, is still raining, and these rains broke all-time records. We had heavy to extreme rains during the past 5 days, and it's ongoing. During, I think, between 19 and 21st July, we got rains of about 100 to 160 millimeter. And generally, we classify widespread rains reaching to 150 millimeter per day and above that can cause, we call them as extreme rainfall events that can cause large-scale floods. Then, after these 2 or 3 days, during the last 2 days, that is on 22nd and 23rd, we got exceptionally heavy rains. So on 22nd, the rains were about 480 millimeter, and then on 23rd, it was about 600 millimeter. And these are from our observatories in Mahabaleshwar, which is under IITM, under the Ministry of Earth Sciences. So similar records were seen from automated weather stations and also the IMD weather stations. So these are all-time records. So I will say these are unprecedented, and we have never seen in our lifetime or our grandparents' lifetime even. So the rains from these 2 days, that's about 1080 millimeter of rains in the last 2 days alone. That's more than 1,000 liters of water for every square meter. So heavy rains and landslides in these ghats flow downstream, causing the floods like what we saw in Chiplun. And we can say that though at the same time, these extreme rain events, which led to the floods in the rivers like Vashishti, they also overlap with the high tide, which means that the river water was not getting flushed out. So there are multiple factors working together. So we need, and these heavy rains in the Ghats point to the fact that we need to monitor and forecast these events better as climate change is bringing in more of these short spells of heavy rains. We have better data for the cities, but fewer over the Ghats and the over towns. Yeah.
Okay. So, Dr. Roxy, if, I mean, how would you explain, like you said, these extremely heavy rainfall we've never witnessed in our lifetime, maybe possibly our parents have not seen something like this. What explains this whole heavy rainfall pattern?
Well, there are two factors that will go into this explanation. One is the local meteorological conditions and how climate change is aggravating this. So if you look at the meteorological or the atmospheric conditions, we saw a low pressure system in the Bay of Bengal. At the same time, this coincided with the monsoon westerlies from the Arabian Sea strengthening. So the position of these westerlies is determined by where the low pressure system in the bay is located. Yeah. So these monsoon winds or the westerlies bring in a lot of moisture across the central India and Western Ghats region. And now, because of climate change, there is more available moisture in the Arabian Sea. The oceans are warmer, the Arabian Sea is warmer, and it's churning out a lot of energy in the form of heat and in the form of moisture. So all this moisture is carried by these monsoon winds occasionally, and depending on the low pressure system this time, it dumped in a particular region. For us, it was over the Maharashtra, and it seems tomorrow it's moving towards Madhya Pradesh and or where again heavy rains will follow.
And I believe Telangana has also received a very, very heavy rainfall along with Maharashtra.
Exactly. So from the Western Ghats and over the central Indian region, across central India towards Telangana and Odisha and all, you can receive this kind of extreme rainfall events. In fact, our studies have shown this kind of pattern is increasing in the recent decades.
So, I mean, I'll come back to India again, Dr. Roxy, but if we go to say possibly what's happening, I mean, you're explaining us through Arabian Sea. Now, whether we look at China, what's happened in China, where I was just reading that somebody's actually tweeted saying 1 year's rainfall, I'm not sure if that's correct, 1 year's rainfall was received on a single day. And we've seen scary visuals from, say, Germany. What explains those events?
Yeah, so we see, and I was seeing today that similar events happen in Turkey also. So this might have happened in the today or yesterday. So this kind of, I mean, this is something we have never seen we have never had these kind of enormous, monstrous floods in human records, in fact. So that is what they were saying. For China, it's 1 in 1,000-year flood. And even Germany, they have not seen floods like this. And the enormity of floods, the water it's bringing in, carrying the cars and all. So one thing for sure is this is a result of climate change. Because what we have projected so far with increasing temperatures is that as temperature increases, as the air temperature increases, there's a property of air that it can hold more moisture. Warmer air holds more moisture. So as the air temperature increases with global warming, it can hold this moisture for a long time. So it doesn't rain for a long time, but when it rains in bouts, in huge amounts. So all that water that is saved in the air condenses and falls as rain all of a sudden. So so it seems that these kind of events are occurring across the globe with increasing temperatures. So that is a very simplistic explanation of that. And this is what does it tell us? Is it a wake-up call? I will say it's a late wake-up call after pressing the snooze button several times, because we have already seen these kind of events increasing. And I've been part of this intergovernment panel on climate change, where we see with observed data that the extreme rainfall events across the globe have increased several times, not only the frequency, but also the intensity of these events. So though they were not forecast for these particular events, there were already projections saying that, okay, these kind of events are going to happen.
एंड थोड़ा सा जो मैं हिंदी में बता दूं थोड़ा सा अपने दर्शकों को, जो डॉक्टर रॉक्सी हमें बता रहे हैं कि जो ये एक्सट्रीम रेनफॉल, जो भारी वर्षा पिछले कुछ दिनों में हमने देखी है, इसका जो एक बहुत बड़ा कारण है, उनका कहना है कि वो क्लाइमेट चेंज है, जो जलवायु परिवर्तन हो रहा है उसके कारण है। जलवायु परिवर्तन से जो है जब गर्मी बढ़ती है तो गर्म हवा जो है वो पानी के जो ड्रॉपलेट्स होते हैं उसको ज्यादा देर तक होल्ड कर सकती है और वो एक साथ उसको एक जगह पे डंप करती है, जो कि हमने देखा है अभी पिछले कुछ दिनों में, चाहे चाहे महाराष्ट्र में हुआ है, तेलंगाना में, या पेनिनसुलर इंडिया के और भागों में। तो डॉक्टर रॉक्सी का ये कहना है कि जलवायु परिवर्तन एक बहुत ही इंपॉर्टेंट फैक्टर है इस तरह की भारी वर्षा की जो इंसिडेंसेस हो रहे हैं देश भारत में नहीं बाकी विश्व भर में, उसका कारण है। नाउ डॉक्टर रॉक्सी, इफ आई coming back to the whole rainfall patterns that you're talking about, does that mean that because now we have Arabian Sea on one side with Bay of Bengal on the other side, does that mean peninsular India is, whatever studies you have done, is receiving more rainfall as compared to it used to receive earlier, and what is going to be happening in the future?
Yeah, so that's an interesting question. In fact, the observation shows an interesting pattern. The monsoon patterns are totally changed. So when I told you that the warm air can hold more moisture, so the pattern has changed in such a way that it doesn't rain for a long time. Because the air is holding more moisture, it has a moisture holding capacity, so it doesn't rain for a longer time. So we are having that long dry periods, and when it rains, it is raining a lot. And so what on a long time, what we are seeing is that the total amount of monsoon rainfall that we get across most parts of India has in fact reduced. So this is the total amount of rainfall during the season, monsoon season from June to September, the key core monsoon season. So that has reduced. And one of the reason is because the monsoon circulation has become a bit weaker. There is a dynamic reason, physical reason for that, because the ocean has warmed up, the Indian Ocean has warmed up much faster at a rapid pace than the land mass. So generally the monsoon winds work from the ocean towards the land, because during summer the land is generally warmer than the ocean. Yeah. So the monsoon winds move from the ocean carrying that moisture towards the land. Yeah. But now we are seeing that the ocean is warming at a faster rate than the land, only over this region, over the Indian Ocean, Indian subcontinent region. There are multiple reasons for that. I'm not getting into that. And because of that, the monsoon circulation, the monsoon winds have weakened a little bit. So this has resulted in a slight reduction in the total amount of rainfall. But at the same time, whenever we are getting that rainfall because of this global warming condition, and there is also a lot of moisture available from the Arabian Sea. When it rains, it's raining a lot. So we are seeing the total rainfall going down, but at the same time, heavy rainfall events going up. So, and that is going to remain here as a new normal probably, because future projections indicate that these kind of monsoon patterns are going to continue.
So, okay, now coming back to you released a study in 2017, if I'm correct, which talked of again the changing rainfall, monsoon rainfall pattern. If we look at different regions of the country, where do different regions, which region has started receiving more rainfall, which is receiving less rainfall? Region wise, if you can tell us, what do the patterns tell?
Yeah, so that pattern of heavy rainfall events we see in several parts of Western Ghats, including parts of Kerala, Karnataka, Maharashtra, and then going into central India, including Maharashtra, parts of Madhya Pradesh, Odisha, Telangana, Andhra, and then parts of Northeast also. So all these regions, including Uttarakhand and Uttar Pradesh. So all these regions, Western Ghats to central, north, and northeast. So these regions are having instances of increased heavy rainfall. So not only the frequency, but also their intensity have already increased. We are not talking about the future. They have already
Right.
increased during the last several decades. And in many of these regions, especially the central Indian region, the total rainfall has decreased because of a weakening monsoon circulation. But there are regions where total rainfall and the monsoon rainfall are increased. One region is Gujarat. So there, the total monsoon rainfall and heavy rainfall events have increased.
Okay. Now, so does that, I mean, if I'm trying, because we Gaon Connection, we work a lot with farmers, this definitely impacts our farming, our
Yeah,
agriculture sector.
very much. Because when we think about farming, we need the right amount of rainfall at the right time. So if you are having long dry periods like droughts, intermittent with heavy rainfall events, we don't get to use that water wisely. So this water either gets evaporated or get flushed out quickly through the rivers when we are having heavy rainfall events. And also there are probably changes in how the monsoon onset also is behaving, especially because we are having more cyclones during the onset phase. So there are multiple challenges that we are having, we need to be worried about, especially when it comes to farming and all.
सो थोड़ा सा मैं दर्शकों को एक्सप्लेन करना चाहूंगी कि डॉक्टर रॉक्सी हमें ये बता रहे हैं कि जो हमारा मॉनसून पैटर्न है, मॉनसून की जो बारिश का पैटर्न है, वो जो है बदल गया है काफी हद तक, और कुछ हद तक जो हमारी मॉनसून करंट्स हैं वो भी वीकन, कमजोर हो गई हैं पिछले कुछ समय में। और उनका कहना है इसका एक कारण ये भी है कि हमारा जो इंडियन ओशन है, जहां से हमारे मॉनसून के करंट्स आते हैं, इंडियन ओशन जो है ज्यादा गर्म हुआ है तेजी से हमारे लैंड मास के मुकाबले में। और क्योंकि जो है लैंड मास जब ज्यादा गर्म होता है तभी मॉनसून करंट्स जो हैं वो लैंड की तरफ जाती हैं। और क्योंकि पिछले कुछ समय में ऐसा हुआ है कि इंडियन ओशन जो है हमारा वो तेजी से गर्म हुआ है हमारे लैंड मास के कंपैरिजन में, इसी ने थोड़ा सा वीकनिंग जो है, कमजोर जो है हमारी मॉनसून करंट्स पड़ी हैं। और ओवरऑल हमारा जो मॉनसून की बारिश का पैटर्न है वो भी काफी हद तक उनका कहना है कि बदल गया है। चाहे अगर हमारा ओवरऑल मॉनसून का जो हमारी बारिश हमें देती है जून से सितंबर महीने के बीच में, अगर वो कुल मिलाकर सेम भी रही है, पर कुछ समय ऐसा आता है कि जब बहुत ज्यादा तेजी से बारिश होती है और कुछ समय होता है जब बहुत ही लंबा एक गैप आ जाता है ड्राई पीरियड का, जैसे कि 19 जून से लेकर करीब 10-11 जुलाई तक एक 3 हफ्ते का एक मॉनसून में ब्रेक पीरियड जिसको हम कह रहे थे, वो अभी आया हुआ था। और अब जो है मॉनसून फिर से रिवाइव हुई है और हम जिस तरह से देख रहे हैं कि देश में काफी हिस्सों में बहुत जोरों से बारिश हो रही है। तो यही हमें डॉक्टर रॉक्सी ने अभी समझाया था कि किस तरह से हमारा बारिश का जो पैटर्न मॉनसून का है वो भी बदल रहा है। Dr. Oxy, coming to cyclones. Now, recently, you all have published a paper on cyclones, and I remember, I think a year back or so, even IMD had released some numbers on cyclones in Bay of Bengal versus cyclones in Arabian Sea. And also, your recent research tells us that the number of cyclones, frequency, intensity has increased in Arabian Sea as compared to Bay of Bengal. Can you tell us, I mean, one is that why we used to have more cyclones in Bay of Bengal, and now what is the reason that we are seeing their numbers, intensity, frequency increase in Arabian Sea?
Yeah, so historically, we have been having more cyclones in the Bay of Bengal, like 3 or 4 cyclones in a year, and maybe 1 in 2 years, I mean, 1 cyclone per 2 years in the Arabian Sea. That has been the pattern over a longer time. But now things have changed, and we are seeing more cyclones in the Arabian Sea, which means more threat over the west coast. So, it is not just the number of cyclones that have increased over the Arabian Sea, but their intensity and the duration. So the accumulated cyclone energy, we call it, which factors in both the frequency, intensity, and duration of the cyclone. So if if the same intensity cyclone stays over a longer time over the ocean, that means it can result in more damage across more regions. Like when Cyclone Tote, we had Cyclone Tote along
Right.
the west coast of India, right? So one reason we are seeing is that the ocean warming has a major role in why there are more intense cyclones in the Arabian Sea, because cyclones draw their energy from the warm waters below the oceans. And historically, Bay of Bengal has been always the warm pole region. We call it warm pole when the temperatures, ocean temperatures, are about 28 degrees Celsius. That's a condition required for cyclones to form. Yeah. To provide sufficient heat and moisture for the cyclones to form. And Arabian Sea used to be relatively cooler compared to Bay of Bengal, but now because of excessive warming, and this warming, we have to think that if you think about global warming, where does this heat go? About 93% of the heat from global warming actually goes to the oceans. 93%. Only 7% goes to land, atmosphere, ice, and all. Yeah. So 93% goes to the oceans. And among these oceans, our Indian Ocean is one of the most rapid warming, particularly the Arabian Sea part. And this has resulted in temperature change of above 1.2 degrees Celsius or up to 1.4 degrees Celsius in parts of Arabian Sea. This is a long-term change, yeah. And we are seeing the results now in terms of increased cyclones and increased rainfall, because whether it is a convective system like a rainfall or a cyclone, this ocean heat is a continuous supply of energy, yeah. And because of that, we are seeing more and more number of cyclones. We are seeing a 50% increase in the number of cyclones in the Arabian Sea. And if you look at
what period in this, what is the time period? You said 50% increase.
So this is during the last 4 decades. So in the last 4 decades, if you take the recent 2 decades compared to the early 2 decades, we see a 50% change, with 50% increase in the number of cyclones. This is the total number of cyclones. But if you take only the very severe cyclones like Tote and all, the instances have gone up by 150%. Yeah. And at the same time, it's not, I told you, it's not just the frequency of the cyclones, but also their duration. Their duration, I think, have increased by about 80%. So the cyclones are living over the ocean for a longer time, which also helps them to intensify as very intense cyclones. Yeah. And so the more they spend time over the ocean, the more energy it will accumulate. For instance, the case of Cyclone Tote, even after landfall, it moved over the land, inland, and maintained its status as a cyclone for more than a day. So that was again unprecedented, yeah. And that is because it had already preserved that energy from the ocean. Because generally, when cyclones hit landfall because of friction and cut off from that moisture supply, it dies. But this didn't die. It caused excessive rains even in neighboring countries like Nepal and all. So things are changing for the West Coast, and even for the East Coast, it is. We thought East Coast is resilient, but cyclones like Yas, it caused more inundation and flood across the East Coast because it overlapped with the rising sea level and high tide. So this is another challenge from global warming. Multiple extremes working together to cause severe impact, severe damage. And that also had a severe impact on agriculture across the East Coast.
Just one last thing, Dr. Oxy, which all of us keep thinking is that, have we reached a point of no return? And I mean, is there no hope? Because what we see all around us, it almost makes us believe कि, you know, कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता, अब AC बंद करो या नहीं करो, गाड़ी चलाओ या नहीं चलाओ. It's like, you know, the end of the world. So, I mean, please give us some hope.
Yeah, this is a question that we face very often. I myself face, and it's like the question is, are we doomed? I mean,
Yeah.
right? And for many, I would say the interesting thing about climate change or the climate change happens due to carbon dioxide emissions, one of the major emissions. And the thing with carbon dioxide is that its lifespan is several hundreds of years. So whatever we have emitted so far will stay in the atmosphere for a long time. Yeah, and there is an interesting graph which says that if we stop all the emissions right now, for a 40% of it to come down, 40% of the carbon dioxide to come down, it will take around 60 to 100 years or more. So even in our lifetime, even if we stop everything, these carbon dioxide emissions will stay. And for it to come down to 20%, that's after we stop all the emissions, for it to come down to 20%, it will take thousands of years. Because that kind of absorption has to happen through the oceans, and it is very slow. So the first a few amount will get absorbed by land and other processes, but then the ocean absorbs on a long time. That is a very slow process. So which means that what we are seeing right now will be here for a long time, even for our grandchildren's time. And so it's a curve that is not going down. The COVID curves with the correct action and social distancing and vaccination, we can bring down in a few months. But the climate change curve is going up, and it has not peaked yet. Yeah, based on the current emission scenario. But at the same time, the hope is that if and it's beyond individuals' power now, it is even beyond individual nations now. The global community, everyone has to work together to stop it from accelerating further. So the next aim is to stop it from these extremes to increasing it further. Yeah, like where we see huge floods. I mean, we are already seeing huge floods. I can't imagine something beyond this.
Right.
It's beyond my capability.
Totally.
Yeah, even imagine. We saw what happened in Northwest US and Canada recently. 5 degrees Celsius of heat waves. Right? That also was never imagined, and so things we can't imagine are happening already.
No, absolutely.
So
And wildfires, which are just out of control. I mean, it's just
yeah,
absolutely
yeah.
out of control. Yeah.
And these wildfires are happening in interior parts of India as well, like
Right.
UP and all this. Just before this monsoon, I think in this year itself, we saw early February, March or something, we saw wildfires across parts of India and releasing a lot of pollution also, resulting in
Right,
a lot
right.
of pollution.
Nepal also had terrible forest fires this year,
Mhm.
and we had also actually even reported on this. So, I mean, clearly, the challenges are like manifold, and I think hats off to climate scientists like you all who are trying to tell us where we stand now, and possibly what we are leaving for our grandchildren, and why it is important to pause, I guess. And I think there are enough signals coming in from different parts of the world now, including the developed industrialized nations, that tell
Yeah,
us that the impact of climate change are real. They are not just limited to some small geographies. The impacts are huge. And I think someday it's just going to reach us. I mean, even if I am rich, I'm living in some other palace, but the impacts are going to reach me sooner than I,
true,
think.
true.
Uh,
Yeah.
so, any last word, Dr. Roxy, you want to say
Yeah,
before we
yeah.
close the
So
Yeah.
one thing, I mean, I don't want to leave very pessimistic. Yeah.
Yes, please give us
So
hope. We all need some hope.
yeah. So one thing is, I mean, our weather forecast. I mean, on a long time, have improved a lot. If
Yeah.
you look at the cyclones, we are forecasting the cyclones in a very efficient manner. If you know the 1999 Odisha
Yeah.
cyclone, at that time I was doing my undergrads at in a college, and I didn't have much idea. I was in Kerala, and this happened in the East Coast, but tens of thousands of people died. There was no forecasting in place. So that those are fatalities in 5-digit numbers. Yeah, 5-digit numbers. And from that, we have, with the help of forecasting and early warning systems and disaster management operations, we have brought those numbers to 3-digit numbers. Yeah. With Oki, it was a very severe cyclone. I think about 800 of people died. With Cyclone Tote, the warnings were in place. Disaster management worked efficiently across the West Coast, even though it hit several states. Yeah. And the numbers were very low. And the people died mostly on the barges and all were people who didn't, I mean, at least those companies didn't bother about those warnings. So generally, the deaths due to cyclones and such kind of extreme events have come down, though still we have these kind of freak events happening once a while, which is even beyond forecast occasionally. One thing we have to do is, I mean, so forecasts have improved, but we cannot keep on evacuating every year, right? So we have climate change projections which show clearly where all extreme rainfall events have increased and are going to increase further in the future. And similarly, where all the cyclones have increased and are going to increase further in the future. So we need a risk assessment based on these increasing extreme weather events and their overlapping risks also. Like sometimes it can be high tide and the sea level rise working together with floods. Even this Chiplun floods, it said that when this Vasishti River, when it was overflowing because of heavy rainfall events, it was not flushed out properly because it overlapped with the high tide. Now the impact of sea level rise there also is not, I mean, we are unable to fathom.
Thank you so much, Dr. Roxy. Thank you for joining us on Gaon Cafe, and thank you for sharing important information, educating us. And we look forward to having you on another show, and hopefully better times when we are not talking in this whole situation of extreme weather events and real crisis.
Thanks, Nidhi. It was a pleasure to be at Gaon Connection, and happy to discuss this with you, and happy to see that you are bringing this message across the Gaons of India.